Welcome guys to another Sunday night live. I'm quite interested to see what's going to happen in the market. Might this be the turn, might not. But tonight we're going to chat about signals and trading communities, the difference between them, the pros and the cons. But without further ado, Smokey, Smiley, how have you guys been? How's the weekend been treating you?
Good man, good. Can't complain on my side. Just been busy with the markets. Smiles, what's happening on your side?
Yeah, cool. Just checking what Bitcoin is doing.
Look, what else do we say, guys? I think it is banking right now. If we take a look at, kind of where we've been standing, we've seen Bitcoin going down. Like we discussed on Friday night, this is probably the biggest reason we know in the market crashing right now is because the futures contract is expiring. And what we know is the market tends to go down at the end of the month before going up. And I think the bears want to be safe winning this contract and not having this market spike up at any moment. So they're pushing this market down to ensure that it's going to stay down until the remainder of this contract. So I don't see Bitcoin probably going up until the end of this month. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, how retailers are going to be reacting. But from what I'm seeing and what I'm seeing in the news, this is what I've been talking about. When we talked about a week ago, I said, the news is very quiet. The market's very quiet, something's going to happen, and this is kind of what we were expecting. We waited for this kind of big hit, so we know that the banks are here. We know the banks don't want to go up right now. So how far are they going to drive price down? I don't know. Smokey, what do you guys think?
Look, there's definitely, we were waiting for confirmation of intent to the upside or the downside. We clearly saw a breakdown to the lower levels below that key $40,000 psychological level that we've been speaking about for the last couple of weeks. And now we've seen price close on the daily below that $40,000 level, which is, Now, what I want to obviously establish is we are not in a position where we want to create any fear in the market. The people that are in the market, you need to start looking at the market and start thinking about where you're going to exit. If we see a continuation to the downside, which I believe is definitely here, we've seen intent to the downside. So what I'm expecting for this evening, I'm expecting a little bit of a push up to the upside. Potentially not maybe as high as the $43,500 level, but potentially sort of sub $40,000 level before we see a continuation to the downside into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Now, we've seen that throughout the day, there was a bit of a push here on the daily. If we scale down to lower time frames, we will see that you would actually see that a little bit of a push here with these candles here. But as we can see, price currently is pushing up, but we can see price has sort of been ranging a little bit up and down, showing us multiple wicks, which shows us that there is a lot of selling pressure coming into the market. Now, we are in a crucial part of the month. That is the 23rd of Jan today. So what we are expecting in the next couple of days is maybe a slight push to the upside before seeing a pullback to continue further down. As Stoney's mentioned, we're looking for the ETFs, and sort of the clarity around when that's going to be released. Is there confirmation from a news perspective that it is going to happen this month, or are we not sure about the date yet though?
I think
that's obviously quite crucial.
Well, look, regardless of the dates, I think the big thing that the market's watching out for right now is the move that Russia is making, whether it's bringing out a big ban on crypto itself or whether they're actually going to be moving into Ukraine. As we can see with stuff like COVID or especially wars, when it comes to, especially with crucial countries, it does put a hold on stuff. So regardless if ETFs or regulation to crypto is an important thing, if there's a big event within the world right now that needs other attention, money and market capital will flow that side for many reasons. So right now, I think the market's just keeping an eye on what's happening. So they're using that as news to obviously keep selling and be driving fear into the market. But right now, without tight regulation coming, I don't see, regardless if the ETFs even get released with whatever certain dates by whichever certain company, because we can see a lot of reserve banks around the world actually innovating in this space. So it's not to say that we're just going to be waiting on the United States, So China could be making a move overnight as well. So I think it's to kind of look at the global economy right now to see what's going on in the global news. We can see a lot happening on the Russian side, so people are just keeping an eye on that. So I think while people are using that as negative news to kind of drive the market down right now, so I'm expecting when we have a final answer on that, I think they're also going to be using that then as positive news to drive the market back up. People always want a reason to do something.
No, for sure, but I mean, we can see that the stock market has taken a bit of a dip. We can see that there's a couple of things happening in the other financial markets. So I think the dates, to a certain extent, is crucial just to get some clarity, because we know that when there's certain dates for certain big news events, there could be a potential expected move, similar to what we see on the charts when we talk about expected order flow. So that is something that we need to look at. And just see where that's happening, because obviously India's jumping on this bandwagon. They are looking to get Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. The US market is a massive market, from a consumer perspective as well, where we can obviously, if they open up, that's going to be a massive influx, in the crypto space. We also know that, a lot of Americans are considering to add crypto to their portfolios.
Look, let's be very honest. We can see ex-federal people, right, that used to work with the Reserve Bank, that's been kind of thrown out for raising certain concerns. These guys have come out speaking that, crypto can be used to bring balance to a lot of, social problems, and especially when it comes to not keeping government officials kind of liable and held accountable for insider trading and these kind of things, or bringing out monetary policies that suit their needs instead of the needs of the public. So you can see a lot of these people coming out, raising their voice and saying crypto is the solution. And I think people are also waking up to know that's the solution. So even though all of us are agreeing about this is the solution, we can see that the people who's controlling the money right now, they're pushing the market down. They still have a lot of control. So as long as these guys have control, we're going to see this mix and match within the market, even though we all know crypto is going to be solving a lot of problems going forward.
I think your dog's hungry. It's calling you. Yeah, no, 100%. Let's have a look at that. The other big thing that I think we need to discuss, and Smiles, you need to join us on this, is tonight's topic about the pros and cons of, whether you are, looking at a trading community or looking at a service provider that offers trade signals. Now, I've jogged down a couple of things here quickly on the two of them. There's obviously a lot more in terms of, points that we can lay out, but this is just the base points that I would like to discuss with you guys and just get your feedback around what it is and what you guys have experienced in the past, because I know, all three of us have been in numerous groups over the last couple of years, and we've, been around the block in that sense. And, it's a big topic and it's a big question. We get asked quite often, about whether or not people should be joining a trading community or whether you should just get trading signals. Now, let me start this by saying, let's have a look at the options that I've written, and then obviously let's discuss and look at the pros and cons.
Cool.
So a trading community, in my opinion, typically come from a course environment and then go on to a typical Discord community where it's well structured, and that helps or allows you to progressively learn faster and learn more, because you've got different minds working on the same sort of pair, whether it's a Bitcoin pair or Ethereum pair, or you're just trading to USDT or USDC pair. It's typically a lot of like-minded people that want to sort of trade and do a similar thing with their portfolios. So that does help progression of learning and adapting faster once you're in that environment. Now, the Discord community or platform also allows you to have a virtual trading floor, which is really a advantageous where you can really go and grab a couple of guys, jump on the call, and you start breaking down the charts and you look for those trade opportunities. But preferably early morning or midday, depending on obviously what the market conditions is. But that's really quite helpful, and gives it a nice platform where you can share ideas and trade ideas. Now, the structured format, as I've mentioned earlier, is also really nice because there's certain segments in these groups where you can go and look at resources or stuff regarding mindset, trading mindset, or if you are looking for entry setups and key notes that whether it's created or collected from the community as a whole or whether it is from the educators, it's really helpful to just go quick reference that after you've done a certain course or if you're looking at a certain topic. Now, the cons I find, and this is where I need you guys to discussion, you're welcome to add to the pro section of this. And I mean, our followers can also maybe comment in the chat if they have any questions. But the cons from a trading community perspective is a lot of people flock to trading communities because they're looking for that validation. They're looking for that holy grail. They're on that road to finding the answer of how to trade and how to become profitable. Now, the problem with being in large communities a lot of the times is it creates a lot of white noise where there's a lot of different opinions and it's not maybe as structured as it should be. So everyone's got their own opinion and viewpoint on the market, and there's not always a clear right or wrong because we can both be on opposite sides of the trades on the same day, but we both can make money. So this is something that we always need to consider and just take into account. Sorry.
No, I agree. I think
sorry about that.
The biggest thing that that I've kind of seen with trading communities is I'm still in a lot of them where I can say on the signal groups I've probably left all of them because the signals is you jump from the next group to the next group to the next group and you try different signals and you hope for the best and maybe they work in the beginning and then as the community starts becoming bigger they don't work anymore because of pump and dumps or whatever it might be. But the thing that I think trading signals kind of taught me is that you can't. It's still not you being in control. You're still dependent on someone else. And I think well, that's what the signals does. I think the trading community helps you become more in control to find your trading style, figure out how you want to trade. But you also then get confused by talking to a lot of people who seem to know what they know what they're talking about. And they end up confusing you, perhaps teaching you something that you struggle to forget. So it's all these kind of things that I think play a role. Whether what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be a hodler or do you want to be a trader?
No, 100%. Look, there's a lot of opinions around it. The other thing, just focusing on the trading community, and Smile, you need to chip in here as well. But the other thing that I want to also point out and Stones, you've pointed it out in some of the groups that me and you are in together and where we've mediated and sort of obviously, managed some of the groups is like a lot of the times it can also create a lot of FOMO, the fear of missing out on a trade because, in that swing of the thing, you see this potential, you see this guy's calling, yes, I'm getting in, this guy's getting in and everyone's getting in on the action and you're seeing the guys making a lot of bank, and by the time you get in or decide to pull the trigger, you've already missed the trade. That guy's out and he's made his cash and you now sitting in a drawdown. So that also does happen in these groups and people need to be mindful of it. And this is stuff that you're not necessarily going to get open in discussions like we're having now. And this is why we've got this YouTube channel, is because we want to give you the most relevant information. Now, Smiles, you've been super, super quiet. You haven't said a word. What are you saying? We're focusing on trade community. What is your pros and cons for trading community? What are you thinking? What's your feedback and your experience with the various communities? What are you seeing?
Well, thanks, Smoke and Stony. Well, actually, I haven't been in that kind of large trading community actually, but the trading community I am, let me say, I am the one that created it actually. But what with the few ones I've joined before I created mine, I think what I have noticed most of the time is that, well, you stated that already. There's a lot of confusion and there is a lot of noise. Yeah, and and like an unexperienced trader can be in a trading community with an experienced trader. When an experienced trader is talking about a particular thing, that makes the other trader be like, wow, what are you saying? What are you talking about? They lack the basic knowledge they really need, which also makes them to FOMO in any particular trade they see, which you've already mentioned already. So I think the best way I can even define a trading community. A trading community should be for experienced trader. So when they are speaking, or when they bring out a particular something or a particular pair to talk about, they would have an adequate knowledge. They will have an adequate understanding. Like the communication, the flow will be there. You can't see an experienced trader telling you, I FOMO'd into this particular project. But an unexperienced trader will tell you, well, I FOMO into this particular project and I make my money. But at the end of the day, ask that trader, is still going to lose back the money the same way he FOMO'd into that project. So I think I think what is very, very necessary is what you stated out already. Yeah.
No,
Trading community. Okay, you want to say something?
100%. No, I'm just saying 100%. I agree with what you're saying.
Trading community. Yeah, trading community should just be for experienced people, because from there you share ideas, you share knowledge. Nobody will be like, well, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. So once you say something, it will be easy for other trader to grab. Not like, okay, you say you plot out a particular something and the other trader will like, okay, where did you see this? Does this even exist? The communication will not be there. And at the end of the day, if you're having a poor communication, the result will be also poor.
Yeah, that's true.
100%. I think it's important to have the knowledge before you jump into a trading community.
Yeah.
Because without the prior knowledge and time spent into studying what it is that, whether it is a specific trading community or whether it is a general trading community, is having clear objective of what you want out of the group and what it is that you are looking for, that you're not getting involved in every single topic in every single chat room in the group, because that creates, like you said, a lot of confusion, and a lack of knowledge can have a negative effect or outcome on your trades. So that's very important. That's why with our new community that we will be launching, it will only be available to you once you've completed the various courses. So once you finish the foundation class, then you get access to the foundation class group, so that you are in a group with the same level of people in terms of their experience level, their mindset, and all of that. And you guys can help each other and grow systematically into a structured approach, so that you can gain the maximum benefit out of these groups. Now, I think that covers the trading community as a whole. I'm not sure about you guys, but if you are happy with it, let's move on to the next part, which is the trading signal group. Are you guys happy with that?
Happy.
Cool. So what I've jotted down on the trading signals group, this is typically a group that provides you with 3 to 4 or even 5 trade setups a week. Now, it depends if it's a scalping group, whether it's a day trading group, which the day trading is maybe better for beginners because it gives you a longer period to wait for the trade to play out. But a lot of people think that trading is just in and out and making quick cash easy. You can do it. If you can do it for 1 minute, you can replicate it for 60 minutes, you can replicate it for 24 hours, but it's not in reality the reality of how it works. Now, the other thing that I've pointed out is this is ideal for people with limited time that they have in front of the charts. But the big thing is, and this is where the cons come in, if you do not know how to read the market, those trade ideas mean nothing. Because without the context of the analyst doing the setups for you, you are not going to know when the market is changing direction and whether you need to be waiting for a lower entry or whether you should be rather moving on to the next trade. And a lot of traders have this thing for, okay, cool, I'm paying for trade signals, so it has to work. And it's just happened. This guy sent, or this girl sent this, trade signal, why didn't it play out? Now I've lost 2%, I've lost 1%, I've lost, some groups have 5% or a ridiculous 12% per trade. I'm like, what are you doing? 12% per trade? You're going to blow your account within 10 trades. I mean, that's crazy. You should have a proper risk management approach to this. Otherwise, you should not be taking those trades. Also, you should be doing your own analysis before just simply jumping into a trade signal blindly, because you are asking to get a beating. You're asking to lose money if you don't do your due diligence. You have to put in the time, dedicate the time and effort to understand the market before you can simply trade any trading signals, because we are all humans. We all make mistakes. No one's got 100% win rate. Even if they are marketing it out there, I'm telling you now, it's all BS. It's not the truth. No one can have 100% win rate. We do, have some form of accuracy, and myself and Smiley, we do have a high level of accuracy, but we don't have a 100% winning rate. Our win rates are typically, depending on the market conditions, but varies from 75 to, I'd say, maybe about 85. I don't know about you, Smiles, but my stats show I'm a 75 to 85% guy. In some cases, some months I'll have a high win rate of about 91%, but depends how much I trade as well. If you overtrade, it also affects it. But what do you think, Smiles, in terms of trade signals? What do you think? What is your pros? What is your cons on those? I mean, you've also started somewhere, so you must have some experience with that as well.
Yeah, Tony. Well, for the Signal group, actually, you said it right already that I've once tried that already. You know what? The challenges I faced was kind of very, very, very strong, actually, because at the end of the day, those people, let me say, those subscribers delivering the signals to, they have the basic knowledge. I mean, what they know is just how to place orders, and don't really understand how the market works. They don't even know how to ladder in, when to ladder out, and even when to de-risk their portfolio. You understand? So at the end of the day, it makes my Signal group so bad to the extent that at the end of the month, I do have this journal. I place my orders on, like, okay, fine. But this week, okay, I have a particular go smashed. But at the end of the day, I realized that even the people I'm giving out this to are not really making use of it. They don't even know how to utilize it to their own benefit. Okay, right now, let me give you a typical example. Let's assume this morning I did an analysis on coin. I said, and let's don't coin at this particular spot, like Bitcoin at this particular spot. And at the end of the day, the moment I drop the signal in the group, I'm not the market maker. It can happen at any time. Okay, fine. I tell them this is something, and at the end of the day, they place the order. And I was like, okay, I was not opportune to tell them back that, okay, fine, cancel this order. There's something in the market that's going up, so quickly cancel the order. The wise ones we notice, the wise ones will monitor they will monitor what price is doing. But others, the unexperienced, we just like 100% relying on what I've delivered to them. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that signals should be, even if we're going to create, if there should be a signal group, it should be for experienced traders. So they would really know how to utilize it, when to ladder out, and also make the best out of it. There might be some signals you drop at the end of the day. You might want to change the number you've dropped, but the experienced one, we know that, okay, fine, price is going to this particular point. Let me cancel this and pick up this order. But those that are just like, okay, let me just go for the signals alone, won't really know what to do. At the end of the day, they might incur some losses, and at the end of the day, they will blame that on you. They'll say you are giving them inaccurate signals. as if you are the owner of the market. So market condition changes every time. So experienced traders understand how to map over and go through all these phrases.
There's a lot that has to go into those comments, but the thing is with trade signals, I think if you are serious about trading, whether it be to generate extra income, whether it is to sort of build your wealth on a short-term perspective so that you can get into long-term investment, or whether you are looking to become a full-time trader, it's important to put in the time, because there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yes.
If you are serious about this and you are serious about making money, take the time and educate. There's a reason why a doctor studies 7 years before he starts operating, for example, or giving, advice to his, obviously, what do you call him? Not students, but his patients. So there's a reason why a doctor studies 7 years. There's a reason why a lot of educated people are studying a certain amount of years, whether it is to get their bachelor's degree, their master's, or PhD, or whatever the case may be. There's a reason for that. There is a method behind the madness. Now, the trading industry, it's the hardest way to make easy money, and that is the truth. You can make easy money very quickly, but you can also lose it very quickly if you're not disciplined and you're not structured in your approach. So I think the point being is that if you want to be serious and you want to make money seriously, then be serious about your trading. Find out and make sure you understand that you don't create false expectations or unrealistic expectations, and set clear goals that are attainable for you, whether it be time related, money related, or education related. Make sure you take the time to educate yourself so that you can manage your own money and that you can grow your portfolio correctly and consistently. That is the key thing for me. If you can establish those key things about this, then you will be able to identify whether or not these things will happen. And with the trade signal group, you can also paper trade those signals to test what is this new signal provider, what is the accuracy rate, how good is it. But also another tip that I can give you with trade signals is when there's trade signals for certain coins, if it's coins that you know and you've studied a lot, then your chances of having a successful trade on those is higher than what you would on a coin that you've never traded before, you don't know the characteristics and stuff. I'm going to finish off with that to say, just look at those things and see where you can take it from there. That's it for me, guys. Thanks. Have a great evening. Let's see you next week. Don't forget to keep a close eye on Bitcoin. If we break below the $30,000 level, we will continue to the $8,000 level. But I believe that the $28,000 level might not hold, and we are going to retrace lower. If you want more information about that, get in contact with the Moonacade team, get hold of our reports, and you'll have more information about the market. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.